Welcome everyone to our Reliv webinar. It's our next level, is our theme for the year, as everybody knows, and I want to remind everyone of our Reliv mission, which is to nourish the world in body, mind and spirit. And in sync with that, today our webinar is an interview with Mr. Robert Wright. It's about health and wellness with our Reliv products. Now, Robert, or Bob as he likes to be called, is an author, a very well-renowned author, and he has gained a lot of notoriety through some of the things that he's written. His focus is very much on health and wellness and the power of the immune system. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to now allow Bob to tell us his background rather than me try and get into it. So, Bob, welcome to our webinar here with Reliv and for our distributors.
Thank you very much, Bernie. I appreciate you having me on. Always appreciate the opportunity to talk about the things that with our organization we deem very important, and of course health and wellness is the bottom line. And as we'll see as we move along here, the Reliv products measure up in this, we think, very much. Now, my background is varied. I graduated with a degree in all of the ologies that you might understand: anatomy, physiology, kinesiology, all of these. So I was always interested in the human body, and I was an athlete, so I was always trying to figure out how I could perform better and do it legally. And I became a distance runner, ran a few marathons, got involved in supplements. Back in those days there wasn't very many good ones, but that changed over time, and we find that the best products in the world now are coming out of network marketing companies, especially companies like Reliv.
Well, thanks for that, Bob. And it's interesting, I heard you just then, you mentioned the immune system, you write about it, you talk about it a lot. You know, just what is the importance of the immune system for people, and why is it?
Well, God gave us this immune system, and it's one of the most powerful forces in nature, I like to say. It's established when a child is born, a child nurses, the mother transfers the immune system through transfer factors into the child, and that's where it really begins. Sadly, we're born in an alkaline state, and we proceed through the rest of our lives to become acidic. We eat acidic foods, we eat non-foods, and much to our detriment. And the immune system suffers, as does what we call the homeostasis of the body, or the natural way that it should be in, and it should function. The immune system needs to function, and it needs to function well. And we know how to strengthen it now. We know how to improve it. We know how to give it the fluids and the nutrients and the things necessary to keep it strong. And also, you know, what heals basically this immune system prevents sickness to begin with. And what prevents basically brings healing to this immune system. What heals is the immune system. So we need to feed it and treat it properly.
You talk about the immune system actually being the healer of the body, so that the body heals itself. And so what that leads me on to is my next question then, is that you talk about nutrition having its role, and therefore just how important is it for people to get optimum nutrition?
Well, obviously it's imperative. We can trace probably back to these sicknesses, these autoimmune diseases, these other types of chronic illness that America is absolutely stricken with today, to a lack of nutrition. Our food does not have the nutrients in it. The soils don't have the nutrients, so they can't pass them along to the grains and the foods that we eat. We fill our meats with hormones and steroids and antibiotics, and we suffer because we do not have an adequate food base any longer. And so food is critical and imperative. I mean, I maintain that if people would simply eat properly, which it seems almost impossible for them to do today, that, you know, most of this sickness and disease would vanish from the face of the earth. That's how important nutrition is. it is the nutrition that is bringing that homeostasis back to the body, supporting the immune system once again so it can function and do what it's designed to do, strengthen and heal the body.
Okay, so, and it's interesting because, I mean, more and more today you hear people saying what you hear, nutritionists, you even some medical practitioners are starting to cross the fence and get into the preventative side of health and wellness, which is a really great thing. So it is a constant and growing viewpoint about optimum nutrition, building the immune system. And so it brings me to this point, and I have to start off this question with a bit of a disclaimer to say that at Reliv we don't claim that our products heal anything or cure any diseases, and that's an important thing for people to understand. But with all that you've said, and you're talking about people getting optimum nutrition to build their immune system, and considering everything you've said so far, what actually led you to Reliv and its products?
Well, it's an interesting pathway, I guess you say, that brought me to Reliv, and I will also reiterate what you just said. For the Reliv products, no one can say they heal anything. They do support the nutritive needs of the body in spades. We found nothing better, actually, than if one were to eat 25 pounds of organic fruits and vegetables a day. You know, then you'd be in the ballpark, but people can't do that. And so we don't believe that it heals either. The immune system heals again, but we need to strengthen it and support it, and Reliv helps to do that. And so I was looking for supplementation, supplemental nutrition that again could help support that homeostasis and immune function of the body. That led me to a gentleman named Dave Zuro, who is a Reliv distributor, and we talked at length, and this has been, probably 5 or 6 years ago at least. And he began to introduce me to these products, and like I always do, I'm one who likes to see the science behind them and research and find out, well, if these are good, and if they're as good as everyone says they are, why? And so that began that research project for me, and looking at research reports, clinical studies on soy and many different things. And as a result, I ascertained that, gee, this company really does know what they're talking about. After that, I talked to Dr. Hastings. I've talked to Dr. Galvez. I was at the convention this past July and talked with Bob Montgomery and Scott Montgomery. And so I've met everyone. And I found, especially starting through Dave, that this was a company of honor and integrity, which is always good. But I had to look deeper and find out, do these products work? And do they work for virtually everyone? Because that's what's important to me. And I discovered that was true. And I've literally talked to thousands and thousands, maybe even tens of thousands. I don't even know of Reliv people now, Reliv distributors, people who have just used the Reliv products. And the stories seem to mimic each other. I find that many and most immune systems are helped, and I haven't found anyone who's ever been harmed by the products, and no one has any bad things to say. But the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding says that Reliv products are steeped in the fundamentals of nutrition, and I like to call it overpowering nutrition, because it is so significant nutrition that I really believe that if myself, I could probably survive on it and a good kind of water for many, many months without any problem. And so I researched it, I studied it, I liked it, I talked to thousands of people who loved it and who had changes within their lives because of it, and so that's what really brought me to it.
Okay, and then listening to what you've just said then, is this why you're endorsing Reliv and its products?
Absolutely. Reliv gave me no choice. They produced such a good product. I found nothing in the world like it, and I say personally, and I do through our organization, that we have not found a better supplement anywhere in the world, merely because of what it is and what it appears to do for people. Again, it doesn't heal anyone, but it seems to support that immune system in spades. and help bring the body when it's out of whack back to homeostasis. And also, what we forget so often is that we really should be using this obviously when we're ill, but even more so when we're well. We want to prevent illness. What's the best way to prevent illness? It's to eat the right foods and get the right supplements to begin with. So very, very important.
Well, actually, that last point you made is very significant, because sometimes I wonder, our products, as you said, there's so much anecdotal evidence alone, not to mention the studies that have been done, but to show that our products are so effective and efficient in providing that optimum nutrition, that people tend in some ways to go out looking for sick people and say, hey, take this, it'll make you feel better, as opposed to looking for people who just want to be healthy and want to stay healthy. And so there's definitely a role for both, isn't there? And health and wellness is about prevention.
It absolutely is, and evidence. And that's why I can tell anyone that I'm working with now, whether they're sick or well, that we have something that you need to hear about. You need to know about it. You need to participate in these products, because this is your life. We need to participate in our wellness and in our healing, and most people don't today. And this makes all the difference in the world, I'm convinced.
Well, Bob, let me throw a question at you from left field, and that is, you said you did your own research on soy. How do you find, or what's a better way of phrasing this, with all the research that's been done and all the scientific evidence that's been put out there now with Lunacin, but also with our proprietary ingredient, Luna-Rich, and with all the work that Dr. Galvez is doing, what's your opinion on Luna-Rich and where Reliv is going with pushing Luna-Rich and, of course, our Luna-Rich X product?
Of course, the Luna-Rich and the Lunacin are said to be epigenetic products now, and those who understand epigenetics, and Galvez is one who understands it better than almost anyone, is that it has the ability to turn off bad genes and turn on good genes. And certainly I can identify with that and that aspect of soy and the Lunacin. But here's something that people don't talk about too much, and that's that, as far as I'm concerned, Reliv had epigenetics. But I'm really amazed by what Dr. Galvez, excuse me, has done. And we've talked several times now. We sat down for about an hour and a half at the last convention, and what a brilliant guy. And I really believe that he knows what he has a hold of here, and what now Reliv has a hold of in this soy peptide. And I think that not everyone is aware of how important this is ultimately going to be. We all think it's really important right now, but I think this just grows and grows, and it's going to be very important not just to Reliv people and people that are sick, but for people all over the world. It's going to grow and expand, because they're really going to realize the value of true epigenetics, especially when it comes to food and food supplements and products. And so I think that Reliv really has a leg up with these products. Not that they're in competition, but I mean in really, really helping people to keep them well again, and to work on those immune systems when they're not.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because epigenetics is something that's been in the media somewhat in North America for probably a couple of years now, whereas in the Asia-Pacific region, it's really just starting to be talked about. Some articles coming out, and it's people starting to, or the public, the consumer, starting to realize the benefits of it. So epigenetics is a pretty new terminology in Asia-Pacific as opposed to North America at the moment. But moving on from what you've said, so you were involved, you met Dave, and so at some point you decided to become a Reliv distributor. So the question really is, and I'm sure people are going to wonder, because they're going to say, hey, here's a guy who's written about these products, but wait on a minute, he's a distributor, so isn't he gaining out of this? So why did you become a distributor, and the significance of that to you?
Well, first of all, I don't gain anything out of it because any net proceeds from that business go to our 501c3 nonprofit. So none of that goes in my pocket, and it was never designed to be that way, nor would it be. So that's just not even an issue. But we found that we needed to be able to assist people as well. I talk to people from all over the country almost every day. And I recommend the Reliv products to every single one of them. And I tell them, if you've got a Reliv distributor that you know or in your neighborhood or close to you, go to them and ask them to tell you all about these products further than I tell them about on the telephone or through a contact form. I say, learn all about them because you want to be taking these. And so it's not to enrich us. It's simply to help those people who have no other sources. That's why we got involved, so that we could support that area where Reliv distributors weren't or could not support at this time. And we put someone very knowledgeable in charge of that within our company so that all their questions will be answered. And these people, mostly sick people in our cases, you can understand, so that they can be supported and they can learn everything they need to know about these products. They can learn which ones to take, maybe for their particular situation, how much to take, when to take them. And so we wanted to be a total support mechanism for the very few things that we do offer to people. And so we had to really take charge and be in control of that. And so that's what we've done. We're not being enriched. We make a little bit of money with it, which goes right into help us to helping more people. And that's all that it really is. But we tell everyone about it. We have an obligation to do that.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's interesting, and it's good for people to know that with your Reliv distributorship, that the proceeds that come from that go towards your institute. And also, it's, you know, I suppose in many ways altruistic that if people, that you suggest to people that they look for a distributor in their local area rather than say, come and sign up with us. And I think that's, you know, that's a great and ethical way to go about it. But I suppose now we've reached a point where I'm just wondering if you could possibly summarize our discussion here today, and because it would seem that from your vast experience in the nutrition industry that you feel that the Reliv products give people the best chance to strengthen their immune system through that optimum nutrition, which obviously leads to them having an improved level of health and wellness. Can you summarize what we've talked about, do you think, just to wrap up our talk today?
Sure. I don't think there's any doubt about that last statement you just made. The nutrition that is involved to strengthen, heal, protect, prevent within the human body is very, very difficult to come by nowadays. People are told now that eating organic is better. A lot of people are making better choices with their food, but still their choices are minimal. And it appears that for the foreseeable future, and we hope this changes faster, that will be the case. And people need to supplement their nutrition, every single person in the United States and probably on this planet. And how do they do that? What's the best way to do it? There are many good products out there, green products, other types of products. A lot of them are pretty good. But I stand by the research and the science behind the Reliv products, and tell everyone this is the best. These series of products are the best nutrition, supplemental nutrition in the world. And I have no qualms telling anyone that, and I'll say it every day. And I do say it every day. And so there's never any question with me or with our organization about how people need to get nutrition in the body and where they need to go to get it.
Well, Bob, that's a great summary. Thanks very much. And I really want to thank you for being a part of our webinar today. I really appreciate the time you put aside. I know you're a very busy man, that you have a lot of demands put on you for doing things just like we're doing here today. So again, I really want to thank you for that. And I know that our distributors are going to gain so much from this, because not only will we have this as a webinar, but we're actually going to take out or strip out the audio and turn it into a podcast as well, so that our people can listen to it on our mobile app that we have. And just before we wrap up, I just want to remind everybody out there to go out there and sponsor, promote, advance, and ignite your business.